yet another slow week in NFL free agency. And the NFL in period. Just another slow week. Like, I just feel like this is the wildest NFL offseason ever, period. I don't think there's any debate for another offseason.
It is.
It's insane.
It's literally, it is the wildest offseason we've ever had. And I remember talking to my buddy Brendan, who's been on the show. We were wondering whether or not the NFL might be broken now. if this is the way NFL offseason, the NFL's done. Like, I think the NFL basically turns into the NBA. The whole player empowerment. Hey, I don't want to play here anymore. Okay, like that ends up being the deal going forward, which I think would be horrible for the National Football League. But we'll see.
This to me reminds me of like an NBA offseason where you just got superstars getting, like, the superstar of your team getting traded to another team, or like a secondary superstar. Look, I like it because it's fun to watch unless it's your team, and it wasn't my team. So, I mean, getting rid of a player, I guess if you're like the Broncos, you're like, oh my God, look what just fell into our lap. But man, it is, although I don't know if you guys saw this Tyreek Hill trade, the odds to win the Super Bowl for the Chiefs, I think it was plus 900. And for the Dolphins, it was like plus 2,800. And after the trade, it was the Chiefs plus 900, Dolphins plus 800. I guess was like, what? Okay.
Like, I saw that. And I'm gonna cut you off here just because you're breaking up a little bit, buddy.
Ryan's calling from the Matrix. The Matrix said Resurrections, not the first one.
You were in your Roger Troutman bag when you said the 2,800. It was great. But I don't know if you guys saw this tweet. This about the NFL offseason. It made me laugh, but it was like, it's been such an insane offseason that we just totally forgot that Alvin Kamara got arrested. Like, there's been no follow up. Like,
what the fuck is Alvin Kamara at this point? Dog? Who the fuck is that?
Like, shit. He got arrested. Like, there's an entire storyline to follow.
At the Pro Bowl.
That's a thing. That's a thing. Anyway,
I definitely forgot about that.
Dude, it's March. That happened in February. It was so long ago.
But anyway, speaking of nasty work, we're going to transition to Deshaun Watson. He held his press conference today with the Cleveland Browns, introducing him. He basically says that he's innocent. He doesn't want to settle the civil cases. And also the owners discussed how they involved their daughters in the process and gave them power to veto the trade. So just wanted to add that caveat.
Let me go first real quick.
Also, before I matrix out, a second grand jury refused to indict him.
Yes, that as well.
Right.
Yes, that is
so all right. So the owners were not at the original press conference, which was like, what the fuck are you doing? And they left the GM to sit there and answer all these questions, and they was grilling his ass. He had a lot of great answers, but it's like at the same time, he wasn't he didn't seem like everything was rehearsed. Like, you could tell he was a little bit nervous. And he answered everything as good as he could. But yeah, go ahead, K.
Yeah, you say not rehearsed. How about not fucking prepared, bro? Like,
Look, man, he tried.
He looked really authentic out there. Like, fucking knowing that he has no moral ground to stand on. Yeah, okay.
He had like fucking, his head was on, his eyes were on a swivel.
Dude, when we were talking last week, and I remember Ryan brought up something, and I remember me and James kind of like, huh? When Ryan, you were like, the Browns had to have go seen Deshaun Watson work out. I'm sorry. The Browns haven't done a goddamn thing. Okay? Yeah. They didn't talk to him about what it is his statements might be. They didn't plan in an organization how it is we're going to answer any of these questions. You had every other team around the NFL basically being like, I'm glad we didn't get him. Like, we could have done a better job than that, right? Well, we don't know, guy. All right, cool. We're glad we're out of this shit. Like, this, everything in this press conference is all the reasons why Washington could not get Deshaun Watson. Okay? Like, it was such shit. Look, when they asked him about the contract, them squirreling away the signing bonus money instead of the $1 million, well, there's just some language in the contract that's good as far as the team and the options that the team might have? Because it's the team. I have no more comments on that. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, I mean, like people do that shit where they started off by saying like, you know what? This is how we're going to address contracts. Like, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to go into detail. And then he used that excuse, like in this time when it benefited him. And then when they asked him about the $1 million.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said? He was
that's what I'm saying.
No, he said like, yeah, we structured it that way to help us with the cap for this season.
It's bullshit.
And it was like, fam, come on, bro.
It was complete bullshit. It's like that's the thing. It was, and then he wouldn't when any further than that when they were asking him about him. Beyond that, you got Deshaun, who's one of the journalists finally asked the question that we've all wanted to know. Like, this is the one question. Here, Deshaun, you haven't talked to the media in over a year. This is your opportunity to answer this. Why so many masseuses, Deshaun? Well, I've been in Houston for 5 years, and sometimes schedules don't line up, so I need 40 fucking masseuses. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense. Like, this is not being prepared at all, or them taking probably the correct assumption, which is that most of the American public and the media, especially the sports media around this, don't give two shits about who's got the moral high ground. Because if we really want to have that conversation, why the fuck is Colin Kaepernick still not in the league? And you got guys that are accused of all this other kind of shit that are still getting record fucking contracts. It's complete horseshit. They choose what it is they give a fuck about, and there's certain demographics that they don't give two shits about. Which is why all the media right now that are bemoaning and crying about the Deshaun Watson stuff in this press conference, which is terrible from Cleveland standpoint, were the same ones that were all riled up about where's Deshaun going to go from a football perspective. So fuck off. Like, right now, anybody that claims to have any sort of moral high ground that doesn't just say, I'm not watching football anymore, you're a fucking hypocrite in some sort of way.
Yeah. And then, isn't that the same team that got Kareem Hunt?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Okay, never mind.
I don't want to throw everybody in the same boat, but yes, it is the same team.
No, it's the same owners, right? The ones that weren't at the press conference because
that is the same boat. That is a boat.
That is not
just a boat. I'm not saying the same. Oh, no. I'm not saying it's one and the same. I'm saying look at the owner's track record.
I'm just saying they're both getting into the same boat.
I don't think that the Kareem Hunt situation is a blemish. It's more of a positive for me as far as the owner's track record because I watched that video. I watched the video.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I'm not going to false equivalize. Is that a word? Anything that that it sounded right? That
it did sound good.
That Deshaun is done compared to any other player.
Just like kept going because it worked.
It's like
we know what you meant.
Oh, I make up European words just because they sound fancy and they're like, what country is that from? I'm like, Graziano. That's not a word. So I think it sounds good. So look, Deshaun's situation itself. Look, no criminal charges. They, as Ryan said, they had another jury that refused to. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's clear from a criminal standpoint. Mm-hmm. What their answer was as far as why they didn't talk to any of the lawyers for any of the victims, why they didn't do anything like it just seems like the Cleveland Browns know there's no moral high ground to stand on here. What we value more than anything is a Super Bowl. They can't just say that, although everyone in the room knows that's the case. Right. And as I said last week, they are tied to the fucking hip, and it's got to work out. I will say from day one on that press conference, I don't think it will, but we'll see. It's got to be what it is to do on the field. But it looks like this team is just completely fucked up, and I don't think good things are coming to them in the future.
Right. So in the press conference, right, the journalist asked them if they talked to any of the 22 women directly, and if not, why. They said they didn't because their lawyers advised them that by talking to them, that would be like them tampering.
Yeah.
In the criminal investigation was his words.
Right. So that makes sense, right?
Yeah. You should never, unless you have their permission, but that should never happen.
But it still looks nasty if you do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad form.
Okay. Just asking. I was like, let's ask the actual lawyer here.
Yeah. So you never ask. I'm not allowed to talk to a victim. I can talk to a witness, but not directly to a victim. It's just bad form.
Also, I didn't.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was just speaking out to the lawyers, not the people themselves.
You said what?
The question is not whether or not they went and spoke to the women. I don't think anybody's expecting the Cleveland Browns to knock on the door of the 22 women. It's about whether or not they had any conversation with the lawyer. And then it's back. And this is
this about the women though.
They're talking about did they talk to anybody representing the 22 women? That's the question.
Yeah, it's just because they were tied together until just recently. It would have still been bad form.
I get it, but the other thing is that none of the trade stuff happens until the criminal investigation is over. There's no charges being brought up.
Well,
it's done.
They brought the second grand jury like 2 days ago.
So. In a different county as far as the other thing, right? But even with that, like even knowing that, you had some NFL teams. Washington was one that actually there was word that got out that like they weren't able to get access the way they needed to do the proper investigation they needed to in a Deshaun Watson thing. And there were a few other teams that were kind of in that same boat. And that was enough for them to say, yeah, we're not going to do this stuff. Because if we can't find out all the details around this thing, then we don't want to have anything to do with it. The Browns are basically saying, yeah, no, we're good with it.
Yeah. Yep. And he's like, yeah, we started this. It was a 5-month odyssey. It's like, the fuck, man.
A 5-month odyssey. Then you see how fucking bullshit they are when it comes to the Baker Mayfield situation with that too?
Yeah.
As far as the timelines go, they're full of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, let's let our what we thought was our franchise quarterback go out and get mauled with a torn labrum for fucking 8 weeks.
I
forgot who said it. It's like Kevin Stefanski doesn't like Baker Mayfield.
I've said it at every week.
Yeah.
I've said it every week.
Oh, I like how the press conference started where Andrew Berry was talking for like four minutes in a row, and then Stefanski comes on and speaks for 15 seconds, and then they go right to Deshaun.
The Browns organization said, "Hey, we're the Browns. Trot the Brown people out to take the fucking to be the lightning rods on this. Fuck them."
Yeah.
And most NFL teams don't think this is just Cleveland. Your team, your team probably wanted him, regardless of who your quarterback was. And they'd be doing the exact same bullshit if Deshaun decided he wanted to go to you. So I don't want to hear that anyone has any fucking moral high ground here at this. You don't. Depending on what your quarterback room looked like, you were in the conversation for fucking Deshaun Watson. Or you would have been.
The other part was like, if like the owner said that they talked to their daughters and they asked them, you know, like, if you guys don't think we should do this, we probably won't do it. Like, really?
I know a woman.
No. If they said no.
If you say no, you're grounded forever.
You want any of this money that rich guys makes?
Huh? Complete devil's advocate right here. Okay. Isn't the idea in this era, you know, as we progress and move forward, become better people, a lot of the thing has been to listen to women, right? Mm-hmm. And so wouldn't it be a good thing that they brought their daughters in? I'm just again, devil's
not to put them like out there like that when like in the press conference, be like, yeah, they said it's okay, so we could do it. If you talk to them like on the side, like if you bring him into the room and you have that conversation, you don't have to publicize it like that. Like it felt like they were the scapegoats.
It's felt very much like my one black friend said this is okay for me to say the N-word.
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't work?
No.
Give it a shot, Ryan.
In this fucking pod right now.
Which one of you?
You don't have my approval, team.
Oh, well, you know you ain't getting permission from me.
And me the fuck neither.
Damn it.
No. The fuck? All right.
Okay, well, moving on from Deshaun, do you guys have any more thoughts on Deshaun?
Sorry, Brent.
I always withhold judgment, so I'm interested. If he says he's not going to settle the civil cases, most people do, even regardless of culpability, just to get them out of their life. But I'm interested to see how this plays out. To be honest,
me too.
It was, remember when we first started talking about this, we're like, it's one lawyer who was like living next door. And I'm not saying that I'm discounting any of the stories. I'm just saying, if we harken back, it seemed a little weird at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And now with the 2 grand juries refusing to indict, not failing to be able to, and him getting picked up by a team, I'm sure they had legal people who were smarter, at least look into it. Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, because I'm starting to get the feeling that if he's going to actually fight it instead of trying to sweep it under the rug, it might be an interesting road for him.
I do too. I want to see everything that gets swept from under it. Like I want to know. I won't say excited. That doesn't sound good. But I really want to see how it plays out.
I'm intrigued.
I think that to me has always been the thing with this is that, look, the criminal investigation is the criminal investigation. If there's no wrongdoing done, there's no wrongdoing done. Like that to me is like at the end of the day, whatever happened, there's some smoke, there's some fire, there's some things that just seem weird, right, about the entire case. But there's a different point. If he's saying that he's innocent in the way that they're portraying this thing to be, and he fights it all the way through and nothing happens, there's no civil suit, there's nothing like that, it is not a grand indication of innocence. But in this system in which we have right now, if he can't prove the shit, then he's got to walk, we got to treat him as such, right? Is an innocent person. My thing is that anyone in the Cleveland Browns organization, Deshaun Watson's camp, that don't have better answers to these questions, that don't have better answers to the questions as far as how it is they're handling it, or saying, like, I'm innocent, I'm not going to talk about this situation anymore, I'm going to let this thing play out in the courts, you will see what gets brought up when it gets brought up. That's a different thing. Like, there's a way that you can answer these fucking questions and not create 100 more fucking questions. They've just done a shit job of this, and it's shit from a moral perspective, continue to have everything being this murky. The Browns organization doing what they did with hiding that contract money with the $1 million compared to $45 million, I don't give a fuck how you look at it. That shit looks fishy. There's just enough shit going on that looks fishy. Nobody can really claim any sort of moral goodness.
I'm sure that Deshaun's attorneys are also like, you can't say anything in public because then it's part of public record and it can be used against you. So.
But he's not saying anything. That's the thing. It's just the answers that he are giving. It just fucking suck.
Well,
yeah, fair enough. So moving on to a wide receiver that Deshaun Watson will not be throwing any completions to, in Tyreek Hill. He was traded to the Dolphins for a fucking load, a fucking haul. The Kansas City received 2 picks I think it's a total of 5 picks. They got a 2022 first round pick, a first rounder, which is number 29 overall, giving Kansas City back-to-back picks. And they got the second round pick, which is number 50, a 4th round pick this year, and they got 4th and 6th round picks next year. And with that, the Dolphins also added Tyreek Hill and gave him a 4-year, $120 million extension with $72.2 million in guarantees. So yeah, I mean, he got a new contract, and he's also in the state with no state income tax. So yep. I think that's a smart move for that abuser. So yeah,
I think what the Chiefs really got out of was 4 years, $120 million. That's a fuck ton of money to pay a receiver when you just gave your golden boy a half Billy. Look, Tyreek Hill is a great receiver. I think there's a lot of great receivers. Is he 30 mil a year?
Whoa.
Yep.
There's a difference. There's a difference. there's a big ass difference. There's no Tyreek Hill in the NFL like him. Fam.
So yeah. So I was going to speak to that as well. I'll just add a little to James's point. Somebody compared him. He's Steph Curry. Like, he changes the way you defend receivers. Like, he runs and you have to send 1 or 2 with him ideally. And then you can't lose him. He is like off ball. Like, you can't lose him once the play breaks down, because that's how the Buffalo Bills lost that fucking playoff game, because he got free and he just broke off. He just broke away.
If you hear Travis Kelce, he's like, I just go out and just run. Like, they just run some shit. Like, you can't do that anymore. Like, that completely changes their offense.
It's going to be nice seeing him in the playoffs.
We're going to get to that part, James. I can't wait to break that fucking down. Okay. How this affects the Chiefs. But I just want to, like, let's start with Dolphins. Let's start with the Dolphins. Like, how do you guys feel like as far as this move for the Dolphins? Should they have made this move? Is it a smart move?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely great. Fantastic. Mike McDaniel being able to scheme shit up. Tua can move. Waddle can move his ass off. Mike Gesicki there on that offense. Secretly, nobody talking about it. They got Raheem Mostert. Like, that team is going to be fun to watch. It's just going to be fun.
Who did they pick up on the offensive line?
Armstead.
Yeah.
the number one tackle.
And they got a guard as well. I forget his name. He was a really good guard. It's not a really good guard.
Connor Williams from the Cowboys.
That team is going to be mad interesting to watch. And in that
they're
division,
both on the left.
And I wish Brian Flores could coach them.
Yeah, that'd have been nice, right? Huh. I'm more interested in what Mike McDaniel.
Not from from an offensive perspective.
Offensive Mike McDaniel.
Offensively, no.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, man, Tyreek Hill. They're gonna use Tyreek Hill like Debo.
I mean, Deshaun Watson would be in Miami. I guess that's something. So maybe they don't have the trade capital to go do. I mean, if Brian Flores is in Miami at that point, right? We know Tua's not the quarterback. So
I don't think Ross would have.
Well, let's not deep dive.
Whatever. Into that. Just the what could have should. But can I from a Dolphins perspective, the best receiver in the NFL opened up. You go get him.
I don't think he's the best, but
in my opinion, he's the best in the sense of what he does matchup wise and what he can do from a physicality standpoint. He has put the ball in his hands and anything can happen. It's Deebo Samuel, but faster. It's it's what he did for that Kansas City offense and where it is the Patrick Mahomes ranks with him on the field. To me, is insane. And what and they didn't even put a good offense around him. Like, they didn't even get another receiver to go there on the outside so you could really move Tyreek Hill where you really wanted to do it. You didn't really have a significant threat from the running back position to really be able to move Tyreek Hill the way you want to move him. I'm just saying that
the best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, who doesn't even have a route tree. It's just, hey, just do whatever and try to get open. Like, it's...
Nah, he can run routes, bro.
I'm joking.
All right.
But look, majority of the time, anytime they do the mic'd up shit, anytime that there's a play that works, it does feel a lot like backyard football. Hey, I'm going to run this way or that way. I think I'll be open.
They've admitted to that. That's what
they do it a lot.
Yeah, like they run the route and then the shit don't work. So then they just fucking backyard football it. And they're too fucking good.
But I know you're asking about the Dolphins themselves. I'd be remiss if I don't say anyone criticizing Tyreek Hill for this is a fucking asshole, and you're a moron. Tyreek Hill I was like on Twitter especially last few days. You disagree with the Tyreek Hill criticism?
I don't know what it's been, but you said it depends on the criticism, what the criticism is. So if you're criticizing him for not wanting to be a guy who wants to win championships, which somebody brought up his statement, which is like, we're going to win 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Like he did the LeBron thing kind of like in Miami and KC. This isn't that. This isn't about winning. This is an ego move.
No, this is 100% ego. This is 100% ego, but I'm fine with it. Because guess what he already has? A Super Bowl ring. So at the end of the day, go get paid, young man. So like nobody can convince me that this isn't what happened. Tyreek Hill has been in communication with the Kansas City Chiefs. They were in lines to make him probably the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Communications and negotiations were going great. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars, in their infinite wisdom, gave Christian Kirk a contract that made no goddamn sense. So Davante Adams said, fuck that, I'm worth more than that shit, and becomes the highest paid receiver in the NFL. The numbers behind that deal were so above anything that Kansas City and Tyreek Hill were talking about that when Tyreek went back to him and said, hold on, I wanted to be the highest paid receiver in the league. Well, hey, guy, I thought we agreed on these numbers the way that they are. Yeah, but the numbers are different now. Fuck you. No, fuck you. And that's the way it went down. Like, there's nobody convinced me it didn't happen that way.
Jerosal said that.
No, did
yesterday's price is not today's price.
He said that Davante Adams trade, like they went back and was like, hey, you see these numbers? Yeah, let's negotiate.
Right.
And then they were like, nah. And then he was like, all right, well, I'm going to be gone after this year, so it's best if we just move on. And then that's what they did, because, I mean, it makes the most sense.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are ruining the NFL. Like, I would just throw that out there. That goddamn Christian Kirk contract.
We were just talking about how they
don't make no sense.
Should be making more money, and now it's happening.
All right, we're the Jacksonville Jaguars. Did you answer the phone? Yes, that's $2 million. I don't know what.
Hey, also, call me, bro.
I'm a big Christian Kirk supporter. I really like him. So
you support that contract,
but not for those numbers.
I'm a supporter. Ain't coming out my pocket. Like, get your money. Congratulations.
No, I mean, I want him to get paid. I want get paid. Black man, get paid. I don't care about that. I'm just saying.
Tyreek Hill gets this for 4 years, right? How old is he? How old is Tyreek Hill?
29.
20. He's a year and a half younger than Davante Adams. So 28, pushing 29.
So he's 32 by the end of this contract, right? And then he can go ring chase again, find like an LA that's one playmaker away because he'll probably still have the speed, and then go get another championship. I'm sorry, that's the way it should be.
I mean,
make your money, man. But
so I wanted to speak to that.
I also had another theory, just real quick, is that in addition to Tyreek perhaps wanting more money, I think the Chiefs converted their jersey guy. Instead of paying per letter, they just played him a flat fee. And so they went out and got two guys with the longest last names in the NFL and made sure they slotted him in because they really wanted to get their money's worth. It's just a theory. I don't really know. But Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I mean, if you're not paying per letter anymore, you might as well. And so that's what I would say.
So obviously the Dolphins were already technically playoff contenders. Does this put them into like championship contention? And your guy, with the moves that they made, combined with all the moves they made,
depends on Tua.
Yep,
it all depends.
Jury's still out. Are they second best in that division? Yes.
Yes.
Like they're not better than Buffalo.
Are they better than the Patriots?
I think they're battling for the Patriots, but I'm gonna put them above them right now.
Depends.
I think they're way better than the Patriots. They were one win worse than the Patriots last year, and they've added so much talent, and the Patriots have added nothing.
Depends on Tua.
But I think they're going to go as far as Tua takes them. But look, here's the thing: Mike McDaniels.
I think that system, that if he's bringing that zone stretch system, it's fucking over.
Mostert needs to be on everyone's fantasy roster.
Any duck quarterback in that system can give you 25 touchdowns and 15 picks, and that's really.
And you know what? And Jimmy and fucking Tua is not going to get all the receivers killed like Jimmy G does.
Probably not. But that's the thing. Is like, do I look at Tua and say that he's a 32 touchdown quarterback? Probably not. But you're not. He doesn't need to be in that offense to be effective. But he doesn't need to be in that offense. He doesn't need to be in that offense to be effective. Look, if I'm looking at Tyreek Hill, what I'm doing if I'm Tyreek Hill, it's like bulking up. Because I'm looking at what they use Deebo Samuel for there in San Francisco, and I'm gonna get the ball a lot of different fucking ways.
Or Tyreek Hill is just a fucking muscle.
No, I know.
Big ass muscle.
I know, but I think he's gonna get hit more than he was in Kansas City just because of the way that they're gonna use him. But this offense is going to be really, really interesting. And all their running backs are going to be on pace to make fucking 1,200 yards if they want to.
If the Dolphins would have signed Cordero Patterson. Oh, my God.
Now, Cordell really likes Atlanta for some goddamn reason.
Give me Mostert. And who's their other running back? They have another fast running back.
Yeah, they do. They just have a fucking track team.
Yeah, but
their defense is really good.
I wouldn't be surprised if they also use Jalen Waddle in the same sort of running back.
Forget about Waddle.
Yeah, but he's a bigger body. He's a big dude. Did you imagine them putting both of them in?
They got Chase Edmonds.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh man, why
they have a track team?
They could literally come out with 2 backs and 3 receivers, and then go 5 wide.
Yep,
and they have Gesicki.
Yes. Oh man, listen, I'm so excited.
Top 5, top 10 tight end.
I'm so excited to see that offense. I really can't wait. I think Tua's underrated. I think we'll finally get to see him like play behind a really good line. Mm-hmm. And I think line play is like the most important thing in the NFL. It determines who wins championships. And I think they'll be good. I think they could push to win the division. I don't know if they'll win it. Kind of depends on how that schedule looks. And usually because I think they finished 3rd last year, they should have an easier schedule than the Bills. So they might make it just to strength off having an easier schedule.
Do they drink beer in Miami? Do you know?
I don't know. They do Coke.
Cerveza.
It's Miller time. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, they like that team is going to be in second at best.
Who's Miller?
Von Miller.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, look, I like the additions they're making.
Yeah, it had us thinking. Oops.
Yeah.
We're all like, where's he going?
It's like Tua, I know Vaughn. If Tua can stay healthy and not get, I mean, his only issue was health, right? He was getting run around.
Teddy B though too,
and pounded into the ground. And look, I'm a Teddy B diehard, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots are back on course next year. because they're never off for more than a couple years. It's gonna be.
They were on course this past year, and they're.
It fell apart, brother.
Yeah.
I was a huge. You remember that the game of the year, the coached game of the year was the run fest against Buffalo. Ever since that night, nothing was the same in New England. I'm sorry. I just can't.
I'm just saying it's going to be tight at the top of that division.
I think I just want to add. So Tua's record as a starter is 13-8. He went 6-3 his first year before he got hurt. Throwing for 11 touchdowns, 5 picks. This year, 7-5 as a starter, 16 touchdowns, 10 picks. His QBR hasn't been above 50, but passer rating 87.1 first year, 90.1 this year. It's just I think you put again in that system. All you need is a serviceable quarterback to take you.
I'm a Tua truther. I like.
And I think he's a good one.
Yeah, I like his brain. I like his arm. It's just and also he's coming out of that system where it was just the front office and the management and the head coach, everybody fucking hated each other. And it was like they were benching Tua to put in Fitzpatrick 2 years. It was just a mess. So, and he's got apparently, as Tyreek Hill put it, the funniest head coach on the planet. So if they're having a good time and they're playing well, it's going to be a really, really fun second place team to watch.
Okay.
Everyone's going to be a Miami fan by the end of the season. Everybody except Buffalo fans going to be Miami fans by the end of the season.
On the flip side of that, how does this you guys feel like it impacts the Chiefs? Because I'll just be honest, I want to say this. I was already prepared to say this, like in the preview for the preview, like when we do previews for like teams and everything for next season. I don't think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. I think they'll be the 4th seed. I think this move is going to hurt them more than they think. I think it's going to be an adjustment period for Patrick Mahomes as far as him scrambling around. He'll look and then he'll look and then he'll see his best receiver out there doing a TikTok dance. And then while Travis Kelce is getting double covered. And then it's just like, oh, I'm about to get sacked this time. I can't throw this deep. I can't get this underneath and my receiver go off for a 60-yard run and touchdown run. I think this is a dangerous move for Kansas City. I also think they're in a transition period now because now you've given Patrick Mahomes that big ass contract and you're going to expect him to carry. He's going to have to carry some. Travis Kelce's 32. He's getting older. He'll be 33. He won't be at his peak for much longer. And I do think though they'll struggle this year, maybe next year as well, but more so this year. This will help them reload because they got a lot of draft picks. But I do think this year they'll struggle. So how do you guys feel like this impacts
Corey
the Chiefs?
Coleman. They got Corey Coleman.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Who the fuck is that?
He got
They
drafted.
got Marquise Valdez-Scantling as well.
Am I thinking about a different Corey Coleman?
No, the one who played for
Buffalo,
like the Giants.
Cleveland.
He hasn't
that
played
Corey
since
Coleman.
2018.
God damn.
No,
he's back in the league.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's back, baby.
He played with Josh Gordon. I like that. I like that wide receiver.
Here's the only thing that I can think of is if they can go. So they're used to Tyreek Hill just not having a route, right? Just running around. If they can get, which are apparently a dime a dozen nowadays, one of those super fast 5'9". I'm going to say white because generally they are slot receivers who are just stupid fast. It's not a replacement, but it's an outlet pass, right? So that you have to cover the guy crossing across left if your tight end is going right. It's going to be tough, right, for them because their line was already kind of decimated. Mahomes wasn't he like he created his own pressures at a higher percentage than any other quarterback.
Than most people, yeah.
Because he's always looking for the home.
I did with Chandler Jones too.
In my heart,
like
they don't make the playoffs. But in my head, do they find a way? Yeah, probably. But they're gonna have to bolster a lot on defense and also on offense because
Well, defensively, they are the worst team in the division.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they were carried by their offense.
Right. And then they lost their weapon X on offense.
And defense.
Wait, Brian Dawkins.
Tyrann Matthews.
They still can't re-sign him. He's still out there, but yeah,
he ain't going back.
Well, if they're truly doing a rebuild, if they're truly doing a rebuild,
you know who's trying to get him?
Let me guess.
You're fucking goddamn.
I know.
Well, I mean, you guys
are trying to get Gilmore too.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
I think you need Gilmore more than you need Honey Badger.
They do.
But we'll see what the fuck happens. I don't know anymore.
Look, for what we're going to see right now, the two teams that lost the two best route receivers in the league are both going to struggle with finding replacement for them. Davante Adams with Green Bay and with Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be a shit show to start off. And Kansas City. Now, once again, every week that we've been on here talking about the AFC West, my rankings have changed, and they changed again. Kansas City's now on the bottom of the goddamn division. But here's the thing. With this crazy offseason, if they sign OBJ and Jarvis Landry back-to-back, and they put them next to the other two guys, does that change my opinion? Probably. So, I don't know. This offseason, okay,
no.
I'm saying, does it change my opinion? Probably. Okay. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to Kansas City Chiefs, when you look at that pressure rate, it's the same thing I was criticizing Patrick Mahomes for at the beginning of last season. The same thing I criticized Saquon Barkley for at the beginning of last season. They weren't taking what defenses were giving them. They're always looking for the home run, which is why you have Patrick Mahomes hold on the fucking football longer than he needs to, because he's not following the route development the way he needs to, as much as he's constantly holding on the football to look for who it is that's going to score that touchdown. And when he does that, he's going to get sacked. He's going to always do that bullshit where he's looking around for somebody and the ball ends up somewhere it doesn't need to fucking be, and he looks like shit, and everybody's wondering what the fuck is up with Patrick. No, it's Patrick trying to look for the home run. Look, we've talked about Patrick not learning fundamentals as far as reading defenses. Right, yeah. But so a year ago, there's a certain element of Patrick Mahomes' natural ability and gifts riding him and having him coast for a while. And I think that there's, with that contract, like you said, Keem, there's going to be, we're paying you not just because of your physical, you need to elevate yourself to a point in which you can command this offense. Do I think Patrick Mahomes is capable of it? Yes. But I don't think over the last couple of years that I've seen is that he's made the progression as far as reading defenses the way he needs to. If he does that with the skill set that he has, the motherfucker can be basically unstoppable in the NFL. But he hasn't combined them yet. He still hasn't done that.
And that's why I think they'll struggle this year. I think it'll be a learning curve for him. I think they'll start off slow, slower than they did last year, and then he'll pick it up later in the season, and it won't be good enough to finish because that division is so good now.
I can see that.
Did you just say they're trying to get him to command that offense?
Oh, no.
I mean, you got to take command, buddy.
I'm just saying.
Will y'all? All right. So
we take command just in all the wrong ways.
He'll be on Washington by the end of next year.
Yeah, what? I mean, they asked about it.
What? Who's being Washington
about it?
Patrick?
I mean, if he's going to command an offense,
we're back. But I will have a son to give him to him. He can have my first point.
But yeah, like when it comes to the Chiefs and their offense, right? We don't have to, like, we would use a spy on Patrick Mahomes and just pray to God that the defense holds up on the back end. But now it's like that doesn't really fucking scare me at all anymore because there's no Tyreek Hill. There's no like home run deep threat that can get past you in the first fucking 2 seconds. They don't have that. And I feel like they're going to get cooked consistently because their offensive line isn't the greatest either. And Patrick Mahomes is going to get hit. And all he had to do was just throw that shit up. He can't do that anymore.
All I know is Andy Reid needs to revert back to 1997.
Andy Reid can't save him.
Here's what here's all I'm gonna say.
Can't save him.
He's got to go.
Bro, if he the way James said that,
he's got to
say that shit like he Thanos. He said, Andy Reid can't. He said that shit like it was a Rocky movie.
Yeah, that shit.
Andy Reid can't.
Ivan Drago head ass boy.
Rocky can't save you.
He can't save him, bro.
Look, Andy Reid needs to revert back to that 1997-98 Andy Reid that had to coach Brett Favre. Like, there's got to be a little that. There's got to be some. Look, I could try to psychoanalyze Patrick Mahomes right now because there's a lot of shit going on and probably makes it hard to get them goddamn study books.
Damn. You know how many times Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be by his house?
That to me, like, I know that people are kind of playing it up as a joke. I'm legitimately worried about it. I'm legitimately worried about the TikTokification of that goddamn team.
It's dead ass.
Yeah, I'm not bullshitting.
You know what? All right, over under the first preseason game, Juju and Jackson Mahomes are doing the TikTok dance on the field.
Because Patty said that they can't come to games next year.
Oh, he did?
No, he thought it came out that he didn't say that.
Oh. Well, then I'm hoping on the over. Fucking hammer the over, dude. Are you telling me that there's going to be a fucking disjointed Chiefs franchise next year? I've never had a bigger erection in my life because that is the only way the Bills are getting past them. Please, God.
I mean, shit. You know it's going to suck if you have to play fucking Miami.
Yeah, watch Tyreek Hill be the Buffalo Killer, not Patrick Mahomes.
I have one last question, and we'll move on from the Tyreek Hill and Chiefs and all this topic. But will the Tyreek Hill contract age well? Because we're talking about a guy whose game is built specifically on speed, not route running, not physicality. It's built on speed. Will it age well?
I mean, to 32, yeah. I don't think you're not going to lose a whole lot of a step between 28 and 32. 32 and 36, let me tell you, that's a rough patch, bro. I tore part of my ACL just walking around. So I think
it's not that bad, bro.
I think Tyreek Hill will be fine.
It's not that bad. I'm looking at the dead, like, if we're going just strictly off the dead cap, I'm just going to add that in first. The first year is 52 million, which is bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Second is 46. Then the third year is 15.
Yeah, so they're
and then 10.
They're front loading it. They can get out of that contract after 3 years.
I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. Will the contract look bad?
Base salary is $1 million.
Will the contract look bad in a few years? No. Although it is. And it's the Jacksonville Jaguars' fault. Okay? The Christian Kirk contract isn't fault for this. But here's why it's going to look good. Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill, I look at that as a combo package, okay? As far as the deals that they have now. You have the two wide receivers that probably mean the absolute most of their respective offenses. So the drop in production for both offenses is going to make those contracts look fucking fine. So the wide receiver market for the next 5 years is going to be kind of fucked, which I'm a little worried about with watching this Terry McLaurin thing. We need to sign his ass now for like 15 years. It's going to get ugly.
Yesterday.
Nah, like, all right. So I was in like a Twitter space like earlier, and somebody said that DK Metcalf is supposed to get about 22 million.
I saw somebody say that he's going to get 30, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Because the age,
he's a great wide receiver.
That's the thing, age-wise. And look, if Drew Lock,
Keem, what?
He's probably top 5. Maybe, I mean, at top 10 at worst, but top 5. I was just off the top of my head.
I go 15.
Nowhere near top 5.
I go 15. I go easy top 15. I go easy top 15. You can make a case for top 10. I don't know about top 5, but DK Metcalf. If Drew Lock finishes the season with more touchdowns and interceptions, $30 million is what DK Metcalf can fucking go out there and get.
No, so like if I'm first off, DK Metcalf, when DK Metcalf is playing and not in his own head,
yeah, he looked terrible.
Is a top 5 wide receiver. You just have to put him in a situation where he's comfortable and not losing his head. Because when he loses his cool, he's like a big ass baby. That's why he's got the fucking binky in his mouth.
All right, I'm gonna name 5 people right now. I'm ask you questions.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But
I'm gonna name 5 people, and I'm gonna ask you if DK Metcalf is better, like when he's on his game. Fair, okay. Like to make you feel better.
Go ahead.
Okay, is he better than Tyreek Hill?
No,
on his game.
No.
All right, Davante Adams.
Yes.
Okay.
I
don't need to talk no more. All right, what's next?
Hold on. So you have him at 3?
No, I just named.
No, I'm talking about Ryan. If you have him at 2,
if you have Aaron Rodgers throwing to,
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm just trying to get an understanding of where you think DK Metcalf is. When DK Metcalf is on his game, who's better than him in the NFL?
Actually, yeah, I'm cool with putting him top 5. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean it's Davante Adams and him are on par.
It's Davante, Tyreek Hill. No, Tyreek. Davante and Tyreek are clearly better. I'm giving you clearly better. Davante, Tyreek, Justin Jefferson. Then give me DK.
Yeah.
Then give me DK.
Hopkins.
I mean, are we gonna listen? Cooper Kupp had a great year. It was
Hopkins.
D-Hop, great year.
D-Hop.
Hopkins. Diggs.
Years old, isn't he?
Whoa. Hopkins. Diggs.
No, I'll give you Hopkins.
No to Diggs.
No to Diggs.
Strength and speed.
Oh fuck!
Hold on. The mental aspect is something you guys are not gonna fucking just go over. Like, come on.
That's what I'm doing right now because
that's part of him. The motherfucker walks around with a pacifier in his mouth.
This was given to me when he is on his elite game, which that's how this
will not be the case with Drew Lock.
But that's how the question was just posed to me.
No, it was.
Fair.
No.
Let me. I just want to say one thing about the Diggs.
So, like, if D-Hop is on his game, but then, like, we're also going to assume that the other receivers are on their game, which they have been because they are, and they're just better.
No, I mean, Diggs isn't. And I think it's stupid that you guys even said that. He has been in the league for fucking 7 years. He has 1 year over 1,300 yards.
Mm-hmm. Diggs?
DK did 1,300 his second year. Stephon Diggs didn't get into over 1,200 until year 6.
I'm talking about now. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about career. I'm talking about right now. And I'm saying
you're right. We're talking about right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not
year.
Don't think that I'm like saying DK's trash. I don't. I think DK as far as
top 5.
Look, DK is far. No, fuck you. DK, as far as his size and speed, he should be arguably the best receiver in the league for that combo itself. Period. Right? But the thing is that there's so many other aspects of him when he's not on game, when he's not doing the right thing, which I understand. The question posed to Ryan was not that, and I get that. But it's hard for me to separate the two.
But am I paying him $30 million to see if we can't get that guy?
No, I will. But that's the thing. Is he worth $30 million? No. Which was, I say yes.
Yes, 100%.
Because of his age.
Like, aren't there only two people that hit 30 right now?
Yeah, but the salary cap is going up.
All right, if you're talking about the future.
That's the whole point.
I don't know what it's going to be.
But when DK's up for a contract next year or 2 years from now, he can command $30 million because you're looking at upside.
Probably so, because somebody will.
You gotta go.
Now, here's the thing: if you ask me, does DK Metcalf have more upside to Stephon Diggs or DeAndre Hopkins or any other? Yeah, absolutely. How old is he? Like, of course,
he's younger.
Right,
but that's just about upside. It's about production. DK has 29 touchdowns in the last 3 years. Stephon Diggs has 24. What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
come on, bro.
Stephon has a garbage
size.
Kirk Cousins.
No, he's been playing in Buffalo, and we just had a year where DK had 12 touchdowns, and half of the year was with Russell Wilson, half of the year was with fucking what's his name? What's the fucking old Jets quarterback? I forget his name. You know his name. That guy, Geno Smith.
Hey,
he was catching fucking
touchdowns.
Don't hate on Geno.
MVP.
Don't hate on Geno.
MVP.
Oh yeah, I remember you kept saying that bullshit. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
last year, Ryan kept calling him MVP.
That was just a jab at old team there.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from that though.
Anyway, he will command $30 million.
Oh,
he
is
can
he better than Godwin and Mike Evans?
Mike Evans and Godwin, yes. I think so. I think so. I think the only guys you could say are Chase, AJ Brown.
What about
we are outside of the three that I said already
Debo?
with the Hopkins and Devontae and
Debo?
Who?
Debo?
the running back.
Oh, come on. Don't do that shit.
Well, watch me.
All right, whatever.
I know I'm gonna get probably laughed off of here, but I still think Terry McLaurin's a tough.
Do we think just a quick question. Do we think what would DK do in the 49ers offense? What would he do? Would he be okay? Could he do what Debo does?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Bigger, faster, stronger.
Only based on durability.
What you mean?
I have to check that. Like, has he been injured? I don't know.
No, he hasn't. You know who has? Debo. DK hasn't, but you know who has? Debo.
No, I think I'd be really interested to see him play in the backfield, but I just don't think DK Metcalf's going to want to do that. I think he likes being that receiver that runs the one route.
DK's last 3 years, 16 games, 17 games. Debo's 15 games, 7 games.
Because he runs one route. It's just he's faster and stronger than everyone. He only runs one route. Just get open long. Like I'm sorry, I get it. I'm saying his skill set and everything's amazing, but I haven't seen him fully develop as far as a dude who can do everything in the wide receiver position.
Randy Moss ran one route.
Do you think DK is better than Randy?
No, you think
he's in the conversation?
You use the one route bullshit argument. You use the bullshit argument, and I'm countering the bullshit argument.
That's all right. Hold on. Here's what I'm saying about Randy. Randy's one route, huh?
He ran the post and the fade and the bench. Just not the dig. He never ran the dig.
No, he don't do the dig.
He could do a 5 and out. He could do a 3-9. Like the 5 and out and up. Yeah, he could do that.
Yeah, I don't even feel like arguing all that much. I got high before this episode. Like, I'm not even that argumentative to that.
I'm about to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you guys.
Randy, as far as being a matchup nightmare from that position, can DK be that? Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm looking at upside, right? Is it DK's run the run route, but I haven't seen him being overly dominant in the same way that I saw Randy be.
Yeah,
are we pulling up? We can pull up the same exact stats, but we're also looking at. You can pull up the same exact stats, but you got to look at Randy Moss putting those stats up at 98. It's a totally different fucking league. What's Randy Moss's stats look like in the 2021 or 2022 NFL when he can do the same thing that he was doing back then? I think it looks even crazier. So, like, that's me and my thought process between Randy and DK. Is that Randy, with that one route, was the most unstoppable with that route ever that has ever seen in grace the field. And I don't think there's a close second.
Well, I think DK should try to shoot for Megatron.
No, I actually think
he's built that way.
I think if DK had a better creative offensive coordinator or offense, he doesn't have to do
That's true.
Does.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
He'd be in a better situation.
I'd agree with that. Like when you said could DK be like Debo, I'm like, yo, 6'4", 235, that'd be fucking interesting as shit to see.
I think he can do some of what Debo, not as well as Debo, but
Debo's like a running back.
Recreate the size, mass, and speed that DK has. But DK is just as fast as Debo, just as quick, stronger probably.
I don't know if he's as fast. I don't know if he's as fast as Debo in short space.
And I don't know.
That's why I said I'm just as quick. That's what just as quick.
I don't know. I don't know if he's just as quick. I think that straight line Usain Bolt type shit that DK can do.
I mean, that's DK.
That's DK. But I don't. Debo to me is like he can change on a dime and do this, do that. DK's got that same skill set.
Okay. I think this is. I enjoyed this. We should do more of this.
We do a podcast. Yeah. We will.
You know what? 15 and out. Like, is DK Metcalf a top 5 receiver? Because I'm down.
Discuss sports more in the future.
No, just the versus aspect. I like that.
Yeah, I'm
down. Terry McLaurin is a top 5 receiver though, and I'm just going mosey on out of here.
No, the fuck he ain't.
Shut the fuck up. Look at who's throwing the football, you cocksucker.
Well, that's your fucking fault. Okay?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Look at who's throwing him the football.
Whoa. It's not K-Dot.
Randy Moss would have just shot somebody if he was on Washington by now. Look at who's throwing the football.
Or he just quit playing like he wasn't.
There we go.
We have to end the pod. Okay.
Right, Ryan's got to go see some. I'm sorry, people.
Last topic before we move to end the pod. Matt Ryan also got traded this week. He is now heading to the Colts, who are a win away, also similar to the Dolphins, a win away from the playoffs. And so how do we feel? What is our immediate reactions to this? Do we think this pushes the Colts over the top into the
Indianapolis
playoffs?
Is now a Super Bowl contender?
I agree. They were carried last year by half decent quarterback play, excellent running back play, very good defense,
insane offensive line play.
This year, they'll be able to protect Matty Ice. He still got it. Like we saw glimpses of it last year. He was just under fire as a 54-year-old or whatever he is.
37.
Hold on.
And y'all didn't believe in me when I talked about Matt Ryan and the May Falcons.
And I think they're bringing back the majority of their squad. They're going to be very good. And,
look at Ryan saying nice things about Matty Ice, who raped your goddamn.
I'm going to bring up something that K-Dot said a while ago. Because I don't feel like this has been addressed just yet. Okay, K-Dot, you said you went back and watched the tape of that game versus Jacksonville, the last game of the season, where they needed to win. Yep, for Carson. And you said that Carson played really well during that game.
No, well, okay.
Well, he played well enough. Like he didn't he wasn't as bad.
I don't think it was his fault. I don't think it was his fault.
Okay, right. So, do you think the Colts have fixed like what the fuck happened there?
I do, but see, that's the thing is that when I watched that game, I don't know what happened. So like that's wait. So okay, all right, cool. I'm gonna retort here. I'm gonna retort here. The Matt Ryan situation going to Indianapolis reminds me almost identically of Matt Stafford going to LA. Now here are the differences. Matt Ryan's better than Matt Stafford was. The LA Rams, as far as a defense, what?
Flip it.
Flip what?
Matt Stafford's better than Matt Ryan was.
No. Yeah. Matt Ryan's nope. I'm saying what I'm saying.
Are you saying career-wise or at this current stage of their careers?
Current stage of their careers. You don't need to. I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm saying it clearly. Matt Ryan, to me, is a better quarterback than Matt Stafford is. Yeah. When Matt Ryan goes to Indianapolis, that team on offense might be better prepared than I think. Well, Cooper Kupp came out of nowhere. So if we're looking at the team possibilities.
What? He didn't come out of nowhere?
He kind of came out of nowhere. The white dude.
No, he didn't.
Statement.
He was good.
Can you mute these cocksucks?
Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I know what you mean.
Jesus Christ. So, look, when you look at the LA Rams before Matt Stafford got on, the big question was, what the fuck is going on with that offense? There were tons of times where the LA Rams would cower or break in the playoffs or have something happen where we were like, what is going on? They get Matt Stafford, it takes them over the top. I look at Matt Ryan, I look at that team. Jonathan Taylor is better than anything that than the Rams had in their backfield. Mm-hmm. The wide receiver position, no, Indianapolis is not as good as LA is. But if they draft anyone in this goddamn draft with the way these receivers are coming out, I think that changed the ball game. On defense, Indianapolis has been
Michael Pittman can play.
And I think Michael Pittman can play, but I'm saying it. But I'm also shut the fuck up, James.
He ain't Robert Woods either.
Here's the thing. He criticized me for talking over. Goddamn, you asshole. Just fucking. God, thank you, Ron. Thank you. So beyond that shit, if I'm looking at Indianapolis with that run game of Jonathan Taylor and he could take pressure off for somebody to actually throw the football and throw every route, I think that this is a team that's almost right there. That defense, look, what happened that last game against fucking Jacksonville is inexcusable. But I also think if they play that game 5 times, it doesn't end up the same way it did at all. I just don't know what happened on that team going into that last week. It literally makes no sense when you watch them compared to what it is you watched the last few weeks of that season.
I think it was a coaching thing.
And
it might be.
That was God.
And they never beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. And they fold under pressure.
I think it's a coaching thing.
Which is crazy to me because Frank Reich is what, the biggest comeback of all time still?
To the one point about the Colts. So I made this point similarly to the Raiders for next year, where they had a really good record and one loss in one score games. Really good record. Those things usually flip from season to season. It's sometimes it's more of a luck thing. You know, sometimes it's a combination of both. We know that. So the Colts had a losing record, a really bad record in one score games, actually. And so I think that flips with Matty Ice. Because of Matty Ice, I think that flips. One
less mistake, one less turnover.
And that division still ass.
You can say a lot of things about Matt Ryan, but he is that guy when it comes to game-winning drives. He's Matty Ice for a reason. I think they will have some more of those this year. They could go from what they won 9 games. They could go from winning 9 games to winning 12. You know, I think, and especially in that shit division. So I think this does push them over the top. I don't know if there's legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I think they'll appear to be, but they won't actually be, if that makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
Oh, you know what's funny? You're right about Matt Ryan, Matty Ice. He has 33 career fourth quarter comebacks. Stafford has 34.
Well, that's because they're always playing from behind every game.
And then Derek Carr has 24.
Oh yeah, let's just throw Derek Carr in there.
But you guys have heard me.
I'm looking at active players. I'm looking at active players, bitch.
But you guys have heard me for the last 2 seasons. Ever since we started this podcast, basically sucking off Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford,
Wilson's 24
which they were in better positions.
Russell Wilson got 24 too.
23 and me.
Yeah. Like he's that guy. So yeah, but any more thoughts on Matt Ryan? If not, we can move to our final.
The Colts also got something else. Like they got Ngakoue now. He's a great pass rusher.
They did. Who is He's on his third team in the last 3 years, I believe.
Which is crazy.
Fourth team in the last 3 years.
I think he's
great pass rusher though.
Fifth team in the past 4 years though.
It's
you think it's so 14 in the last 3, fifth in the past 4. Yeah.
Yeah, but the only issue is he's not that good against the run. That's it. But he's great against the rushing the passer. So that'll help the Colts too.
I would say
but the only issue with that is that hurts you situationally because you have to get him on the field, and then teams know when he's in, you know what the plan is, so you know what you can do, which is why the Ravens did not keep him.
Which is why we traded him.
When I got bashed a little earlier, I just want everybody, I'm not going to go through it, but please do me a favor and look at Matt Stafford's stat line up until the point that he goes to LA and compare it with Matt Ryan's stat line in Atlanta with a team that could barely consider themselves a team.
You mean, so are you saying compare Matt Ryan's season last year to Matt Stafford's season from 2 seasons ago?
Right. I'm saying compare this is what I'm saying as far as moving from Atlanta to Indianapolis, which is a well-built team, right? Is that Atlanta Falcons, they basically couldn't do it. So if I'm looking at Matt Stafford's last season in Detroit, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,000 yards, right?
Good numbers.
Yeah. And Matt Ryan this year, 3,900. 20 touchdown, 18 with Kyle Pitts and no receivers. And then the year before that, 26 and 11, 4,500 yards. Year before that, 4,400 yards, 26 14.
The 4,500 yard year, they were terrible on defense, and he had a lot of games where he was just throwing.
He had to keep throwing.
He was just tossing the shit.
But that's the thing is, you even look at the way their offense is built. Who they have at running back that year?
Patterson,
Todd Gurley,
and
the ghost of Todd Gurley.
Mike Davis.
Come on, Doc. Huh?
Mike Davis. He won me a fantasy league.
Oh, congratulations.
he didn't win them any games.
I'm just saying, it's when you're looking at Atlanta's how many years removed from that Super Bowl? The 28-3.
Here's what I would just add to that. Matthew Stafford, his last year in Detroit, passer rating 96.3, QBR 61.3. Matt Ryan last year, passer rating 90.4, QBR 46.1. If we want to discount the fact that he had a shit line, let's go back to the year before. 59.8 QBR, 93.3, which is still not better than Matthew Stafford.
But I'm looking at that offense, especially. All right, fine. You know what? All right.
All right, so
what was the QBR? What was
also
he got sacked so many times.
Also, fuck Matt Ryan. Just to be clear,
it's almost 50.
Hey,
and that was 3 years ago.
While you guys are looking up stats, I'm going to start my final thought because I got to fuck off.
There we go.
My final thought is the Washington Capitals. I have never seen a team more well put together.
Mm-hmm.
That plays so poorly at home. People purchase their tickets and they go and they watch them right at home, and yet they can't win at home, which is supposed to be a thing when you're playing at home. And I can't figure it out. So somebody could let me know how one of the best teams in the league has a losing record at home this year. You just you put a comment down there. I'll probably tell you to go fuck off. But it's mind-boggling. I pay for tickets, I go watch them, and then they lose to the last place team in the division. I don't understand it. Also, baseball is back, and for all of you who don't know, fuck Rob Manfred.
Hey, can I get next? Ryan, can you do me a favor? Can you mute both of those guys just so that I can run through and not get interrupted so you can go to dinner?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, cool. These are my NBA final thoughts just to clear up everything I think about the NBA and things that I've said in the past. Even
Wait, you're muting them and not me?
Hey, I'm trusting you, asshole. This is what we're doing, all right? Plus, you're in control of the mute button, you cocksucker. All right. The best player in the NBA right now, bar none, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. The MVP this year is still Nikola Jokic. The best team in the league when they're completely healthy is the Brooklyn Nets, period. Beyond that, the finals winner in the NBA will be from the Eastern Conference Final. Whether it's Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Miami, or Chicago, one of those teams will win the fucking championship. The only team from the West, can you mute them again, Ryan? The only team from the West that has a chance, if they fucking go on a run, is the Golden State Warriors, and I still don't think it'll be enough, as much as they might make things interesting in the finals. Beyond that, on the East, what I am rolling with is the Philadelphia 76ers. because of the combo of Harden and Embiid, which when functioning properly is the most unstoppable force in the league. The only thing with that, and the key words are functioning properly. Harden shrinks at every big moment he's ever been in. Embiid has no history of staying healthy, especially when they need him to play more. And Doc Rivers is a giant choke artist. I'm picking them completely based on fucking feel. I'm embracing the feeling, and I'm embracing it fully. If I'm wrong, cool, I'll embrace it the exact same goddamn way. And beyond that, Philadelphia, look, you have fucked me over as a city so many goddamn times. Can you once in your goddamn lives just do something for me? That's
James
it.
Harden, 2 for 47 from the floor tonight.
I would like to go next. My final thought, I wanted to speak about the Udonis Haslem, Jimmy Butler interaction. As somebody who's I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. I root for him. I like his attitude. It's very much Mamba mentality, shit like that. I do think he can probably get on people's nerves. And I don't know what he said, but in that moment, I know that Udonis Haslem would beat his ass. I 100% believe that when Udonis has said, I will fucking beat your ass, he will fucking beat his ass. And I think the Miami Heat could be if you watch the body, I'm a body language person. If you watch the body language and you kind of watch how people reacted to it, nobody was like, hey, Jimmy, man, it's Jimmy. They were kind of just letting Udonis go, except for Caleb Martin. And there's, it seemed like it gave us the vibe of, we sick of Jimmy Butler shit. No, shut the fuck up, Jimmy Butler. Get his ass, Udonis. That's what it gave me. Because I look at Kyle Lowry, and I think Kyle Lowry is a very much he's a great leader. I look at him as a type of person who would have calmed down that situation. If you look at him while somebody's holding Jimmy back and somebody's holding Udonis back, Kyle's kind of just walking around I hope he let him go. It just seemed like to me it was very much let his ass go, because Jimmy, for all his good and everything, he probably talks too much. As somebody who can relate to that, he talks too much sometimes. I can see it just seems like, and especially for a player who's not accomplished, he's not an MVP type of guy. He hasn't won a championship. They did go to the championship, in the bubble year, but how much really? I'm just I guess, you know what I'm saying? But it's he hasn't really accomplished anything. And he made the point that he said that he's told, I don't think this is true. I really hope it's not true. But he said in the press conference after that, he told Spo and UD that they weren't D Wade made them, or he carried them or whatever, or they won't be anything without D Wade. I hope that's not true. I just hope that's not true. Spo is literally one of the best coaches, arguably the best coach in the league. And Jimmy Butler again is unaccomplished. And this is again coming from somebody who loves Jimmy Butler. Two-way, he was right about Cat, he was right about Wiggins. I love what he fucking did when he went to Minnesota. But you got to know your ledge.
One thing, I'm a Jimmy Butler stan too. Defended him a lot. One of my favorite players in the NBA. You've been around enough situations. Even if you're right, you can still be an asshole. And Jimmy, I think you're probably just an asshole, buddy. Even if you've been right in certain situations. If you're always around all the arguments and the issues, common denominator at some point. And Spoelstra reacting the way he did speaks volumes.
I heard other people say that Spo just wanted to play it up because he knows that that's how you get through to Jimmy.
Yeah, because he's a good coach, best coach in the league.
Yeah. So when you say how you reacted, I was like, it's Jimmy, so he's gonna do it.
Even if that's okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. My final thought is about F1. So I want to give K-Dot some congratulations because he was right. Ferrari is wow. But we're gonna see how the Mercedes team makes their adjustments. Fuck Red Bull. I was laughing at Verstappen
and Sergio
because at first, you know what? But I do have to tone it back a little bit on that, because in the text thread you saw, I was this fucker's complaining and they're saying that nothing's fucking wrong, and then the next lap the car just died. I was oh, and then Sergio Perez's car just died, and I was like, damn.
And Pierre Gasly's, the AlphaTauri, same fucking engine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like,
there's something.
And
then
you saw the funny thing is like the bottom 6 teams or the bottom 6 cars all had Mercedes engines. And I was like,
yep,
yeah, they got to fix something because godly, it's gonna be a long season.
So you're saying I should get a Mercedes?
Just don't get a McLaren though.
Fuck you, man. That's uncalled for. It's just so uncalled for. Dan Ricciardo had fucking COVID, you cocksucker. Like, they can stay away.
What?
Dan Ricciardo had COVID. He couldn't even practice fully in the goddamn car.
All right. Well, he's not Vettel, who can't even fucking race.
Oh, yeah, but it's Vettel. We're not talking about Vettel.
What about Lando?
Want to throw McLaren on the goddamn
was Lando okay?
Here's what I know. Charles Leclerc and Ferrari will be in the top 3 again. Yeah. And Red Bull will be right there if they figured out that issue at the end, which from what I understand, is a fuel pump issue more than anything. Yep. So if those are the cases, cool. I'm just hoping McLaren figures it out this weekend and we look better than we did last week. That's it.
Oh, did you see what happened at Free Practice 2 today?
No, I didn't watch it.
You guys can continue this conversation. Not on my time. I love you all, but I got to go see some bitches.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
There we go.